Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to continue working on the VB WRX. So let's see what we got going on today. This morning I got a shipment from Bunnings Australia, who closely work with Dmaker Australia. So let's unbox the shipment we got here. Going in, looking at this will be the enlarged hood scoop. I will install this in a later video. This piece here looks to be the roof spoiler. Front end cross brace, vortex generator, and the part that we're going to be working on today, the STI style wing, Dmaker spec. Additionally, I'd like to point out that all these parts are in World Rally Blue to match the car itself. I'll get to unpacking the wing and then we can have a look at what we're working with. So here we go, fully unboxed finally. I've got to hand it to Dmaker and Street Element. This was very nicely packed to avoid any potential damage during shipping. So just going over the parts, we've got the two connections to the body. The wing is a bit different. It's not a three-piece wing like some others. It's already got the side pieces installed. And then we've got a couple of end caps to go underneath the side mounts. Dmaker also include two templates to help with the installation for drilling. I've just rolled the car forward, so we've got plenty of room to work behind the car. So I'll get ready by popping the boot and removing the rear liner. So just popping the boot. To remove this interior felt liner, we've got 8 of these push pins, which I'll grab a flathead screwdriver and just pop them out and remove this liner. I was wrong, there's actually 9 of those push pins. There's one in the middle here. The rest are all along the outside in these smaller holes. So the liner is out now. I'll close the boot and we'll apply the templates ready for drilling. Preparation for mounting the wing. I've gone ahead and used some painter's tape to help protect the car. I've then carefully applied the template, holding it down with some more painter's tape. And from here I am going to just pilot these holes using a 2mm drill bit just to mark where they are. From there I'll remove the template and we'll continue drilling. So after that initial run, we've been left with 3 tiny marks in the tape. I'll continue drilling these two as they will go through to nothing. We have to protect ourselves on the inside when drilling this one, otherwise it hits the weather stripping on the boot. So it turns out the 5.5mm bit I have is quite blunt, so I had to step it up a few more times. I went 2.5 to 3.5 to 5, and then finished off with the 5.5mm. So as you can see, we've got 1, 2, and 3 holes on this side, and 1, 2, and 3 holes on this side. So I'll get the tape off, we'll prep up the bases with the weather strip, and we'll see how this all fits together now. So we have our 2 sides here. I'm just going to apply weather stripping around this whole outside as supplied by Dmaker. Stripping applied on this one. I'll go through and do the same on the other side, and then we'll get to the install. So we've hit 2 snags. It looks like the bolts supplied by Dmaker aren't. This is the longest one, and my drilling's not that great. But even the longest bolt doesn't come out of that hole, and the rest are all shorter than that. This one's actually meant to be up in this hole here, but in testing this hole here with one of the short bolts, I've accidentally lost the washer into the two-piece. So I'm going to duck down to the local hardware store and see if I can find some solutions to this problem. So thankfully I have managed to retrieve the rogue washer that was in my boot, thanks to the magnets on the back of this Mighty Car Mods magnetic parts tray. Just magnetized it to the boot and moved it around until I was able to get it out. But we still have a short screw problem, so I'll figure that all out and we'll continue on when I can. So a few trips to the hardware store, and I've managed to come up with a solution for the bolts. We're going to use the original for the top ones, see how I go getting these shorter ones in on the middle, and then I've got some new 25mm bolts which fit in this bottommost hole here. Takes a little bit of finessing, but I'll try and get this all installed. Well, after much arguing, it's still not on. I've got it mostly on though. I'll just spin the camera around and you can have a look. It's sitting on there. It's attached by 4 bolts. I've still got to work on the other 2 bolts. The front ones are just really stubborn and just won't bite into the thread on the actual wing. But we're held down by 4. The wing's actually attached. And slowly but surely I'll tighten this up tomorrow morning and we'll hopefully have it ready to go for a spin. Okay, it's day 2, early in the next morning, and I've been up early fiddling around with this wing. Been to the hardware store already once this morning to get a different length of bolt and some more washers, but we have success. The wing is on. All the bolts have lined up finally. I did have to drill the bottom ones out by another 1/2 mil just to give me some flexibility, but everything's in there. I'm just going to go through and do the final tighten up now, but all the bolts are in finally, and see how we go. Okay, I've just gone through and tightened everything down. Everything's looking a lot better. Even tightened the 3 bolts on the underside of the wing. Now there's a plate that goes in here, so I'll quickly install that and show you the final result. Well, that definitely took a lot longer than planned, but we are finally on. I'll just give you a quick look around and then I'll go give it a test drive, see if it fails, and we'll get some shots of this once there's a bit more sun around. So I've just come back from a test drive, everything seems alright. As a result, I've just gone and go ahead and reinstall the felt liner. As you can see, now only one of the bolts is actually showing through. The others are all hidden in behind, away from eyes. So that's actually going to conclude it on this one. I was hoping to get more done in this video with some more parts, but the wing's taken me the better part of a few day and a half to actually complete. I promise this is actually an easy install if you get the bolts in the right spacing and get the correct length bolts, but unfortunately that hasn't happened in my case. Either way, it's still an amazing looking mod, and I can't wait to show you what we've got in store for the rest of it, so subscribe and continue following along this journey.